Most people look at their birth chart and think, oh, that explains why I'm like this. And then they close the tab and nothing changes. But your chart isn't just a personality manual, it's a map of exactly where you're stuck, where you learn to abandon yourself, and what you need to reclaim to actually heal. Today I'm going to show you how to read your chart completely differently. Not just for information, but for transformation. So grab your chart because we're doing this together. So here's the difference between reading your chart for personality versus reading it for healing. For personality, you're looking at what you are. Like, I'm a Gemini moon, so I intellectualize my emotions. I'm a Leo rising, so I need attention. I have Venus in Capricorn, so I'm cautious in love. And all of that is accurate, but it doesn't change anything. You're just labeling patterns you already know you have. Reading for healing is completely different. You're asking, where did I learn to be this way? What was I protecting myself from? And what do I need to reclaim now that I'm safe? Your chart stops being a static description and becomes a living map of your psychological evolution. So instead of, I'm a Gemini moon, so I intellectualize, you ask, why did I learn that thinking was safer than feeling? What happens if I let myself feel without analyzing? That's the shift, from description to navigation, from personality to healing. And I'm going to give you a 3-step method for reading any placement in your chart this way. So here are the 3 questions you need to ask about any placement in your chart. Number 1, what did this placement teach me to do to stay safe? Every placement in your chart is a survival strategy you developed. It's not random. You learned that certain behaviors kept you loved, kept you safe, kept you from getting hurt. Your chart shows you what those strategies are. Question number 2, what am I avoiding by staying in this pattern? Every pattern you're stuck in is protecting you for something scarier, usually a feeling you don't want to feel or a truth you don't want to face. Your chart shows you what you're defending against. Question number 3, what becomes possible if I stop abandoning this part of myself? Every placement has a survival expression and a soul expression. The soul version keeps you safe. The soul version makes you whole. Your chart shows you what you're not allowing yourself to become. So these 3 questions turn astrology from a personality test into a healing tool. Let me show you how this works with specific examples. Example number 1, your moon placement. Let's start with your moon sign because most people already know it. Your moon is your emotional body, your needs, how you were mothered, and how you learn to mother yourself. Most people read their moon and stop at personality. I'm a Cancer moon, so I'm sensitive. I'm an Aquarius moon, so I'm emotionally detached. Read it for healing using these 3 questions. What did this teach me to do to stay safe? If you're a Cancer moon, you probably learned that taking care of everyone else's feelings kept you connected. That emotional caretaking was how you stay loved. If you're an Aquarius moon, you probably learned that detaching from your feelings kept you from being overwhelmed or controlled, that staying rational was safer than staying vulnerable. Neither of these are wrong. They're just survival strategies that made sense when you were young. Question number 2, what am I avoiding? So with a Cancer moon, you're avoiding your own needs. If you actually let yourself need something from someone else, you'd have to risk them saying no. Easier to just keep giving. With an Aquarius moon, you're avoiding the messiness of being human. If you actually let yourself need someone, you'd lose your sense of independence. Easier to just stay above it all. Question number 3, what becomes possible? With a Cancer moon, when you stop abandoning your own needs to take care of everyone else, you learn that you can be loved without earning it. You can receive care, not just give it. With an Aquarius moon, when you stop using detachment as armor, you learn that intimacy doesn't have to cost you your freedom. You can be both close and autonomous. See how that's different? You're not just describing your moon. You're understanding why you are the way you are and what becomes possible when you evolve past that survival version. Example number 2, Saturn placement. So let's do Saturn because Saturn is everyone's teacher, whether you like it or not. So Saturn shows where you learned limitation, where you internalized not enough, where you became afraid. Most people read Saturn as punishment. Saturn in my 7th house means relationships are hard. Saturn in my 2nd house means I'll always struggle with money. But that's reading for personality, or worse, reading for victimhood. Let's read Saturn for healing. Question 1. What did this teach me to do to stay safe? So with Saturn in the 7th house, you learned that relationships require you to be perfect, responsible, or useful, that you had to earn partnership through being good enough. Saturn in the 2nd house, you learned that resources are scarce and you can't trust that you'll be supported, that you have to hoard, control, or overfunction around money and worth. These are survival strategies. They kept you safe when you were powerless. Question 2. What am I avoiding? With Saturn in the 7th, you're avoiding the vulnerability of being loved as you are, mess and all. If you let someone see you without the performance, they might leave. So you stay in control. With Saturn in the 2nd, you're avoiding the reality that your worth isn't about what you produce or possess. If you stopped performing value, you'd have to face the question of whether you're inherently enough. And that's terrifying. Question number 3. What becomes possible? So with Saturn in the 7th, when you stop performing perfection in relationships, you learn what real intimacy is, not based on you being flawless, but on you being human. That's where actual connection lives. With Saturn in the 2nd, when you stop trying to earn your worth, you realize you already have it. Your value isn't conditional on your productivity. You can rest, you can receive, you can exist without justifying yourself. This is Saturn's actual lesson, not life is hard in this area, but this is where you're being asked to stop performing and start trusting. Example number 3, with Venus placements now. So one more, Venus, because everybody wants to understand their relationship patterns. Venus shows you what you value, how you love, what you think you deserve in relationships. You learn that real partnership includes conflict, that someone can love you and disagree with you, that harmony built on hiding yourself isn't harmony at all. This is how you read for healing. Every placement stops being an excuse and becomes an invitation. Reading Venus for personality. Venus in Aries means I'm passionate and impulsive. Venus in Libra means I'm romantic and partnership oriented. And reading Venus for healing is question 1. What did this teach me? With Venus in Aries, you learned that desire is powerful, but maybe not safe. That if you want too much, too fast, too intensely, you'll be rejected. So you either suppress it or you crash forward without nuance. With Venus in Libra, you learn that your job is to be pleasing, harmonious, easy to love, that your needs matter less than keeping the peace. So you shape-shift to fit what others want. Question 2. What am I avoiding? With Venus in Aries, you're avoiding slowness, patience, collaboration. Because if you slow down enough to let someone actually see you, you might have to admit that you're more than just passion. You want to be known. With Venus in Libra, you're avoiding conflict, messiness, your own sharp edges, because if you let yourself be difficult or disagreeable, you might lose connection. So you stay smooth and pleasant and deeply lonely. Question 3. What becomes possible? With Venus in Aries, when you stop using intensity as armor, you learn that desire doesn't have to be destructive. You can want things and also have discernment. Passion and patience can coexist. So here's how you actually use this method with your own chart. Pick one placement. Your sun, moon, rising, Venus, Saturn, whatever feels most relevant to you right now. Ask yourself these 3 questions. What survival strategy did this teach me? How did this placement keep me safe when I was young? What am I still avoiding by staying in this pattern? What feeling or truth am I protecting myself from? What becomes possible if I integrate the soul expression of this placement instead of just the survival expression? And then, and this is the important part, actually do something with that awareness. If you're a Cancer moon who realizes you've been overgiving to avoid your own needs, the healing isn't just knowing that. The healing is practicing letting yourself need something from someone else, even if it's small, even if it's scary. If you're Saturn in the 7th and you realize you've been performing perfection, the healing is letting someone see you messy, on purpose, and noticing that they don't leave. Your chart gives you the map, but you have to walk the path. So grab your chart and try this method with one placement. Ask the 3 questions and see what comes up. Drop in the comments which placement you chose and what you learned. I'm genuinely curious what you discover. And if you want more content on using astrology for actual healing instead of just personality analysis, please subscribe because that's what this channel is all about. Using your chart as a tool for reclaiming the part of yourself that you learn to abandon. Thanks for being here. See you next week.